You ever wonder what it really takes? I mean, to defy the odds, turn a dream into something real, something solid, especially when things are tough.
Yeah, it's a compelling question. And maybe even more, what does it mean to actually, shift power in your own life?
Exactly. Taking control of your situation, your story, your impact, and then helping others do it too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, today we're diving deep into Brian Rowe's story. His journey isn't just inspiring, it's like a living example of resilience, purpose, and that power of belief.
Absolutely.
So our mission here is to pull out the key insights from Brian's incredible story. We're using the sources you shared, including some really great stuff from the Powershift Podcast, Scaling Life by Brian Rowe.
Right.
We'll look at, everything from his personal wins to his community work and even this new art book he's released.
It's quite a range.
Yeah, get ready for some surprising details and those turning points that really show how you get from just wanting something to actually achieving it.
Looking forward to unpacking it.
Okay, so let's kick off with something super recent and pretty exciting. Brian just had his second filming session with AWS Amazon Web Services down in Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And this wasn't just, any old filming. Angela, who's the global head of product marketing and education programs at AWS, she was there.
The global head. That's significant.
Right. And the CEO of GDNA, that digital agency, was there too. Brian himself said it felt surreal and truly special.
I bet.
So having people at that level there, what does that really signal about his influence maybe and his message?
That's a really good question. It's pretty critical for understanding where he's at right now, his momentum, their presence, especially someone like Angela from AWS. It really speaks volumes.
Yeah.
It suggests it's not just about featuring Brian once. The sources mentioned they talked about maybe doing follow-up podcasting, new connections.
Okay, so more ongoing stuff, potentially. Exactly. It kind of signals a shift towards maybe a strategic partnership. Like AWS sees him not just as a story, but as a real voice, someone who can help them connect, maybe especially with education programs and community building.
Right.
This is where you see his influence starting to, really expand, shifting power beyond just his own story.
And it's not just being featured in content, is it? He's actually taking on leadership roles within the tech community itself.
That's right.
We learned he's been named the organizer for the AWS Charleston community. He's going to be hosting monthly events there.
Wow. Okay. Organizer.
Yeah. And on top of that, he's organizing community events for GDNA in different places too.
Mm-hmm.
So for someone who's started with these personal goals, what does this move into community leadership tell us about how he's evolving?
Well, I think it highlights a really crucial phase. He's leveraging his own success for, collective impact.
These aren't just titles, right? Organizing monthly AWS events in Charleston. That means he's building a platform for education, networking, growth, right there in the local tech scene.
Yeah, boots on the ground.
Exactly. And the GDNA events do something similar, just maybe a broader reach. It feels like a very deliberate choice. Shifting focus from just the personal story to, the community. He's taking what he's learned, the connections he's made, and using them to open doors for other people, which lines up perfectly with what he says he wants to do, be an asset, offer young people alternatives.
Right. Empowering others.
Yes. It shows his purpose isn't just about his own climb, but about lifting others up too.
It's clear these recent things are super exciting, but you really need the backstory to get the full picture, right? His personal journey. It's pretty incredible.
It really is.
He often talks about how amazing it is just looking back from wanting to be a CIS major computer information systems back in high school. The sources sort of hint at some real hardships he faced.
Yes, they do.
How did he hold on to that dream, when the odds might have seemed stacked against him? What was the secret sauce there?
Well, the key thing isn't just that he kept going, but how. The sources suggest that despite huge challenges, statistics that could easily stop him, Brian had this incredibly strong, almost singular focus on that CIS major goal.
It's tunnel vision, but in a good way.
Kind of, yeah. It was his compass. Not just wishing, but like an active, disciplined vision. He saw tech education as his path, his way to autonomy, to making an impact.
Okay.
In that long-term vision, it let him make small steps, grab little opportunities, even when things were tough.
Right.
So the lesson maybe is the power of having that really clear, enduring goal. It's motivation, sure, but it's also like a strategy map when things get rough. He really kind of willed himself into living the reality he always envisioned.
And you can see why that story connects with people, why it's captured the attention and admiration of so many.
I mean, think about it.
Resilience through tough times, breaking into tech, now getting noticed by AWS, taking on leadership roles. He's become this sort of symbol, hasn't he, of what's possible if you mix perseverance with purpose.
Exactly.
What is it about his journey, do you think, that makes people feel so invested, like they're really rooting for him?
I think it's because his story feels like living proof that transformation is possible.
Yeah.
And it's not presented like some lucky brave, right?
No, it feels earned.
Exactly. Shows deliberate action, focused intention. That success isn't just for, the lucky few. So people, family, friends, colleagues, even strangers who just hear his story, they see maybe a bit of their own hopes in him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
His journey offers a kind of blueprint. Keep a clear vision, go after opportunities relentlessly, commit to growing. You genuinely can shift power in your life. It taps into that deep desire we all have for self-determination and getting better. So people want to see him keep succeeding, paving the way.
And speaking of reaching more people, his public platform is getting even bigger. He's actually booked for the Badass Leaders podcast in September.
Oh, that's fantastic. Another great platform.
Yeah, another chance to share his perspective more widely. What's he likely to focus on there, do you think?
Well, the topics mentioned are leadership, innovation, and entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And what makes him authentic here, I think, is his background.
Right.
The sources mentioned he was a VP at Green Star Services, that eco-friendly business solutions company.
Oh, okay. I remember that.
So that role was like a real-world test lab for leadership and innovation. Plus, he's apparently always been interested in business and education.
So it's grounded in actual experience.
Exactly. These aren't just buzzwords for him. He's lived it.
Yeah.
He brings this practical perspective, mixing the ideas with, what actually works on the ground. I think that'll be really valuable for their listeners.
And it all connects back to his main mission, doesn't it? He seems very clear about wanting to live with purpose, with autonomy, be a real asset to the community, and crucially, offer young people alternatives, showing them there are different paths, maybe better paths, than the ones they might see right in front of them.
And that really gets to the heart of this shifting power idea again. His message about positivity, about change, it's not just talk.
Right.
He seems genuinely committed to making a positive difference. And he's using everything he has.
Yeah.
His life story, his tech skills, these leadership roles, even his art.
Yeah, the art book is fascinating.
It's this whole person approach to making an impact, showing that purpose can come through in lots of different ways. He's demonstrating to young people not just what success can look like, but how you actually build it step by step. It's like practical mentorship through his own journey.
Okay, let's definitely talk about the art. His book, Crisis, officially out now after, more than 5 years of work?
Yeah, quite a long time in the making.
And this detail really caught my eye. It was written using two specific symbols. One meaning beware of the danger, the other meaning look for the opportunity.
Powerful imagery.
What's the core message there for a book called Crisis?
Well, it's a pretty profound concept, right? The idea is that in any crisis, our first instinct is usually just to see the danger, the threat.
It's natural.
But the book challenges you to consciously shift that view, to actively look for the opportunity hidden within that difficulty.
Okay.
Which then brings up a big question for all of us. How do you actually do that? How do you make that mental shift? A choice, a reframing. And the book seems designed to guide you through that process, changing how you see challenging situations.
So it's not about pretending the danger isn't there.
No, not at all. It's about finding leverage within it, seeing it differently.
And the book's structure seems built to help with that. It's in 3 parts, right?
Yes, 3 strategic sections.
First is rage,
Right.
which is that initial tension, the danger, the anger. But the book says that rage is kind of neutral until you act on it.
Interesting framing. Neutral.
Yeah. Then comes reflection. This is the turning point, the crossroads, where you have to reflect before you act, because what you do next shapes everything. Your perspective starts to shift here.
That pause is crucial.
Totally. And then the third part is reality. It says during reflection, this power shifts with you, letting you shape your reality. So it's a deliberate path from raw feeling to thinking to acting with intention.
It's a very mindful process.
So for someone listening, maybe going through their own crisis, what's a small thing they could do to get into that reflection stage instead of just reacting with rage?
That's a great practical question, because reflection is often the hardest part when emotions are running high. Maybe a simple takeaway from this structure, implied by moving from symbols to action,
Yeah.
could be just a pause. literally cause. Maybe write down, say, 3 things that might happen if you act purely on that initial emotion.
Okay.
Then 3 things that might happen if you step back, even for just 5 minutes, or even just physically walk away from whatever triggered it. That can start the shift.
Create some space.
Exactly. And the fact that the book involves 10 other contributors using all different art forms, prose, poems, photos, it underlines that there isn't just one way to reflect.
Right.
It's about finding your way to create that vital space between the trigger and your response.
Yeah.
Turning that moment of potential rage into a chance to reshape reality.
It's really interesting that it is a collaborative project with 10 other contributors, using all those different art forms, prose, articles, poems, photography, all focused on raising awareness about childhood trauma. It makes it much bigger than just Brian's personal story, right? It's a collective voice on a really important issue.
Absolutely. It elevates the project beyond personal reflection into a shared artistic statement with a social purpose.
And Brian specifically thanked Morgan Vicky Todd, said she was crucial in actually putting the book together, handling the marketing, did an amazing job over those 5 years.
Yeah, that acknowledgement is important.
That kind of teamwork, recognizing that shared effort. It feels like another way he shifts power, doesn't it? By empowering others on a shared mission.
Definitely. The success of Crisis clearly wasn't just Brian. It speaks to collective vision and sticking with it, especially for 5 years.
That's a long haul.
It really is.
Yeah.
Morgan Vicky Todd's role in managing all those pieces, bringing that whole artistic project together, it says a lot about the team Brian gathers. It really reinforces that big impact often comes from empowering good collaborators, not just one person's genius.
So it really feels like the energy around Brian Rowe right now is all about anticipation. It's not just looking back at where he's been, but really focused on where he's going.
Yeah, there's a definite buzz.
With the Powershift podcast, leading the AWS community in Charleston, these upcoming podcast appearances, his growing voice as a leader.
You can feel the momentum building.
Yeah.
And the feeling from people following his journey seems pretty clear. If he's managed to come this far, against those odds, just imagine what could happen next. His story is just such a powerful example for anyone watching. It shows how you can keep shifting power not just in your own life, but for others you influence and inspire along the way.
Right.
It really highlights that shifting power isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process, right? Constantly reevaluating, adapting, growing your impact, always with that core purpose guiding you.
Brian Rowe's journey really is just a powerful story of resilience, of purpose, of transformation. It proves that, with perseverance, real change is possible. His story gives you a kind of roadmap for taking charge of your own narrative.
It really does.
So as you think about Brian's story, maybe consider this. How can the ideas from his journey, like finding the opportunity inside the danger, that crisis book concept, or using challenges to fuel community impact, how can that inspire you to shift power in your own life?
That's the key question.
What's one small, deliberate step you could take today to look at a challenge not just as a block, but as a chance, just like Brian did? Moving from that rage to reflection, to shape your own reality. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep shifting the power your way.